Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Welcome to this morning's Srimad Bhagavatam class, which is taken from Canto 3, entitled The Status Quo, Chapter 2, Remembrance of Lord Krishna. And this morning we're doing texts 33 and 34. So without further ado, we'll start the class. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivadadari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivadadari Yashodanandana Vrajajanaranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajanaranjana Jamuna Tira Bandachari Jamuna Tira Bandachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivadadari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivadadari Yashodanandana Vrajajanaranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajanaranjana Jamuna Tira Vandachari Jamuna Tira Vandachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Om Vishnu Pad Paramhamsa Parivajagacharya Stotra Satyashishi Maharaj Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jaya Om Vishnu Pad Paramhamsa Parivajagacharya Stotra Satyashishi Maharaj Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Sri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. ISKCON founder Charja Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Sham Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Mathura Dham Ki Jai. Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Jagannath Swami Ki Jai. Gangamai Ki Jai. Jamuna Mai Ki Jai, Tulsi Devi Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Hare Krishna Mahamanta Ki Jai, Samaveta Bhaktavinda Ki Jai, Itai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the lotus feet of Sri Sri Guru and Buddha and Srila Prabhupada. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktitirtha Swami Nityanamini Namaste Krishna Padaya Prabhupada Suttatmani Shri Guru Karuna Shakti Bhaktitirtha Nityanamini Narayana Namaskritya Narun Chevam Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayam Vajirayat Nashta Prayesva Badresu Nityam Bhagavata Sivaya Bhagavati Utamashloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. Dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. This morning we're doing two texts. So we'll chant together the first one and then the second one, then I'll just take it from there. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 2, Text 33. Okay. Hare Krishna. Okay. Vashatinde Vajakopan, Bhagnamanan, Nitivivala, Gota Dila Dapatrena, Tato Bhagana Grinata. Vashatinde Vajakopan, Bhagnamani Tivivala, Gota Lila Tapatrena, Tato Pagnanugrinata Vasatinde Vachakopan Bhagnamani Divivala Gota Lila Data Patrina Trato Pagnanugrinata. Hare Krishna. Please chant.
वर्षतीन्द्रे व्रजाकोपाद् भग्नमाने अतिविह्वलः गोत्रलीलातपत्रेण त्रातो भद्रानुगृह्णता. हरे कृष्ण.
Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण वर्षतीन्द्रे व्रजकोपाद् भग्नमानेतिवीवल गोत्रलीलातपात्रेण तात्रो भद्रानुगृह्णता. हरे कृष्ण.
Hare Krishna.
Harshatindre Brajakopad Bhagnamane Tivivala Gotra Lila Tapatrena Rato Badrani Grinata. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anyone else?
वर्षतेन्द्रे व्रजाकोपात् भोगनामानित्रिविबला गोत्रलीलातपात्रेण तत्रो भद्रानुगृह्णता. हरे कृष्ण.
Hare Krishna. Anyone else? Okay, we'll do the synonyms, one word by word, word for word. Vashati, in pouring water. Indre, by the king of heaven. Indra. Raja, the land of cows. Vrindavan. Gopat Bhagnamane, having been in anger on being insulted. Ati, highly. Vivala, perturbed. Gotra, the hill for the cows. Lila Atapatrina, by the pastime umbrella. Trata, were protected. Bhadra, O sober one, Anugrinata, by the merciful Lord. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. O sober Vidura, King Indra, his honor having been insulted, poured water incessantly on Vrindavan, and thus the inhabitants of Raj, the land of cows, were greatly distressed. But the compassionate Lord Krishna saved them from danger with his pastime umbrella, the Govardhan hill. Text 34. Saraschasi karai mrishtam, manayan rajani mukam, gayan kala padam reme, stena mandala mandana. Word for word, meaning Sharad, autumn, Shashi, of the moon, Karai, by the shining, Mrishtam, brightened, Manayan, thinking so, Rajanimukam, the face of the night, Gayan, singing, Kalapadam, pleasing songs, Reme, enjoyed, Srinam, of the women, Mandala Mandana, as the central beauty of the assembly of women. Translation by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. In the third season of the year, the Lord enjoyed as the central beauty of the assembly of women by attracting them with his pleasing songs in an autumn night brightened by moonshine. Report by Srila Prabhupada. Before leaving the land of cows, Vrindavan, the Lord pleased his young girlfriends, the transcendental gopis, in his Rasa Leela pastimes. Here, Uddhav stopped his description of the Lord's activities. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purport of the third canto, second chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Remembrance of Lord Krishna. Oma Gyanatimirandasya Gyana Gyana Shalakaya Chakshu Umlitam Jena Tasma Shri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashnaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinami Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Prachayani Niveshesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Shatayani Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namni Gurati Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So, the English translations again. Text number 33. O Soba Vidura, King Indra, his honor having been insulted, poured water incessantly on Vrindavan, and thus the inhabitants of Raj, the land of cows, were greatly distressed. But the compassionate Lord Krishna saved them from danger with his pastime umbrella, the Govardhan hill. Text number 34. English translation. In the third season of the year, the Lord enjoyed as the central beauty of the assembly of women by attracting them with his pleasing songs in an autumn night brightened by moonshine. Jai. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So, Uddhava is still describing different activities of Lord Krishna because Vidura had asked him how Lord Krishna is doing, and he, Uddhava, has remembered, being a very close friend of Krishna, remembering so many memories they have. And the memories are connected with the pastimes. Therefore, Uddhava is describing one pastime after another of Lord Sri Krishna. So this is what is going on. And this part with the two texts that we just read, is talking about, as I said, text 33 is about Indra, his honor having been insulted. So, by the mercy of Guru and Gauranga, we will go through how Indra's honor got insulted. Mm-hmm. And he also poured water incessantly on Vrindavan. So the inhabitants of Raj then, they were very greatly distressed, and they went to Krishna, and Krishna found a way to save them with his pastime umbrella called the Govardhan Hill, Govardhan Hill in Vrindavan. So that's the first one. And then the second one that Uddhava described was how Krishna pleased the gopis, the transcendental gopis, as is stated in text 34, with his wonderful songs and his flute playing, and also his beauty. Krishna is exceptionally beautiful. Brihad Bhavatamrita describes that Krishna, you can tell the difference. Krishna's expansion, Lord Narayan. Lord Narayan is four-handed. He's very beautiful, but Krishna is even more beautiful. And also in the Brihad Bhavatamrita is also described that the residents of the Vaikuntha planets, very, very, very beautiful. But their beauty is trumped a little bit by those residents of Golok Vrindavan in particular. So what should we do but be very thankful to Srila Prabhupada for giving us the opportunity to head for a place that is as transcendental and as wonderful as Golok Vrindavan. Of course, the replica of Golok Vrindavan is in India, but it's not available, even though it's in Vrindavan, it's not available for the eyes of those of us who are still going through purification. So there's that Vrindavan that is transcendental, but it takes the eyes that are tinged with the salve of love of Krishna to see it and see the activities that are going on there. It's a replica of Golok Vrindavan, so you can imagine how gorgeous the place is. But if we work hard enough on our sadhana and develop love of Godhead, even to a small extent, the mercy of Guru would come through, and we'll have the opportunity to live the rest of our lives in a place as wonderful as Golok Vrindavan. So first, text number 33. Indra, his honor has been insulted. So how did it all happen? So we'll take part of this from the Garga Samhita and then the rest of it at this particular pastime from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10. Garga Samhita, Canto 3, Chapter 1. Now, Garga Samhita, before we start describing this Govardhan Hill and Indra and Krishna and the residents of Vrindavan, Garga Samhita is a conversation, just like in Srimad Bhagavatam, Maharaj Pariksit is hearing from Shukadev Goswami. Here, King Bahulashva is hearing from Narada Muni. So Narada Muni, who's the one, is the one that's speaking. Bahulashva intermittently asks questions. So in the first text of chapter 1, Canto 3, Garga Samhita, Sri Bahulashva said, "Why did Lord Krishna lift Govardhan Hill, just as a child playfully lifts a mushroom?" So why did Krishna lift Govardhan Hill? But Sri Bahulashva, the king, gives the impression here that Krishna had just an easy time lifting Govardhan Hill. Well, the source of all energy comes from Krishna. So we shouldn't be surprised like this. But it's nice that the king, he's a Raja Rishi, very much pure devotee of the Lord. And he's talking with Narada Muni. He gives us the first hint of how easy the Lord is. How easy the Lord lifted Govardhan Hill. How easily he can get things done. Like a child playing, with mushroom and just lifts up the mushroom. So Narada replied, and he put an analogy out. He said that just like the citizens have to pay an annual tax to their king. So the Gopas, the farmers, all of them, at the end of each monsoon season, they will offer a tribute to Indra. So that's the way they were living. Just like it's tax time, we also do it. Tax time is April 15th in the United States. We have to pay on or before that time, unless you have good reason to ask for an extension. But you pay, by April 15th of every year. So it's an annual payment, annual filing of the taxes. And you just wrap it up like that. So citizens pay annual tax to the king. So in the same way, at the end of each monsoon season, then the residents, the men, the Gopas, cowherd men, they offer tribute to Indra. So Krishna asked a question because the time was close for them to do the same thing, to pay tribute to Indra. They do a whole worship arrangement, a whole like a festival for Indra to satisfy him. So when the arrangements were being made for this Indra Yagya, now Krishna asked Maharaj Nanda, his foster father, a question, and the Gopas were all listening. So Krishna asked, he said, what is the result of this worship of Indra? Do they say that it brings a material result or a spiritual result? What does this worship of Indra give us? Something spiritual or something material? So Nanda Maharaj explained, worship of Indra brings both sense gratification and liberation. Without it, a person cannot be happy in this world. So that is the first answer that Nanda Maharaj gave. You worship Indra, you get sense gratification. Indra is in Swagaloka, there's plenty of sense, material sense gratification. So Nanda said that, yeah, sense gratification comes in liberation. And people live like that. So, Supreme Personality of Godhead then followed. And this time he wasn't asking. He was telling Nanda Maharaj, Indra and the other demigods enjoy living in Swagaloka because of their past karma. This is true. People with good karma go to the heavenly planets. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead told this father in this Leela that Indra and the other demigods, they enjoy living in Swagaloka because of their past karma. So when their good karma is exhausted, they again enter the world of humans. So please understand that worshiping them does not bring liberation. That's the first point that, and everybody's listening. Young Krishna tells his father Nanda Maharaj, please understand that those who live in Swagaloka, and this is still true, you go to the heavenly planets because of living in the mode of goodness, being kind, but not doing things transcendental, like the way Krishna says to do in the Bhagavad Gita and the way Srila Prabhupada directs us to do with his purports, then you live well by material standards, being very kind and so on, just like it describes in Bhagavad Gita chapter 18, text 42, the way the Brahmanas live, mode of goodness. You go to a heavenly planet. But then it's like an extended vacation. You have so much of a great time. So much is there at the material level that people are trying to achieve on this planet. There's several times that in Swagaloka planetary system. But you're there only for a while. It's like an extended vacation. You're there for quite a number of years. But when the good karma is exhausted, we again come down to this world of humans, like where we are now. So that's not liberation. That's why Krishna is making it. That is not liberation. Liberation is in two ways. One, what we have here as liberation is mental liberation, because we've understood, at least most of us, and the rest of us are coming to that understanding, that the material world is not a place that is going to make us happy. And we have decided to turn our attention to Krishna consciousness. So mentally, we've disconnected from life, the material type lifestyle, the sense gratification people are involved in. And the other liberation also is one where that happens after death. People actually merge into the effulgence of Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's also another liberation. So going to Swagaloka, spending life there, and after the good karma, the results from the good karma is exhausted and you come back to the material world, that is not liberation. So Krishna made it clear to Nanda Maharaj, to the hearing of all the gopas, the cowherd boys. And then he says, with all their hearts and renouncing all material pious results, the wise take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and worship him with the best of pious deeds. Those type of people, the wise, and not others, they attain final liberation. So this is made clear to Nanda Maharaj. It's not an arguable point at all. It's spot on. So those with all their hearts, they just renounce all material, even the pious results that can take a person to Swagaloka, to the heavenly planets. The wise people, they take shelter in the Supreme Personality of Godhead and worship him instead. So they do that with the very best of things that they can put together for the worship. And they attain final liberation. So Krishna continues that the cows, the saintly persons, fire gods, demigods, Vedas, and principles of religion, they are all potencies of Lord Hari. They all come from Lord Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So they who, instead of worshipping the demigods, worship Lord Hari, they are the ones that attain happiness. They are the ones that attain happiness in this life and also in the next life. So then Krishna then begins to bring Nanda's mind to Govardhan. The hill named Govardhan is the king of kings and the kings of mountains. It was born from Lord Hari's own chest, and it has come here by the power of Pulastya Muni. So by seeing it, one becomes free from having to take birth again in this world. This is Krishna saying this now. Just by seeing Govardhan Hill, one can actually be freed from taking birth in this world. Because those who see Govardhan Hill, they worship Govardhan Hill, they circumambulate Govardhan Hill, and all of those increase a person's interest in Krishna consciousness, so much so that their heart opens up to Krishna, and then they will go back to Godhead. So then Krishna begins to give instructions. First, worship the cows, brahmanas, demigods, and then make a great offering to Govardhan Hill. That offering is the king of yajnas and is very dear to me. If you do not desire to make that offering, then do whatever you wish. So now he puts Nanda Maharaj on the spot. First, he tells him what to do. He begins to tell him what to do because he'll add more things. So that offering would be the king of yagyas, and that is very dear to me. Now, you know, Nanda Maharaj loves Krishna like anything. So now Krishna says, if you do this, it's very dear to me. Then, again, everybody has free will. So Krishna did not push his father to do it. He said, if you don't desire to make the offering, then you do whatever you wish. But of course, Nanda Maharaj knows that if he doesn't do the offering, then Krishna will not be happy because he says this offering is dear to me. So Nada continued to tell King Balalashwa, there was one elderly Gopa. His name is Sananda, and not Sananda to be confused with the Sananda of the four Kumaras. This is a different Sananda. He's very, very wise. He also lives in Vrindavan. He knows the real principles of religion. When he heard Krishna speak like that, he became very pleased. So Sananda spoke to Lord Krishna. In the meantime, Nanda Maharaj has become bewildered because this is a thing they do every year. They do yagya, they do puja to Indra. And, he's explained why they do it. And now, Krishna's defeated that argument. Those who go to the heavenly planets, they don't get liberated like that. No. They come back after they spend the time there, or, the karmic reactions, they come to this world, this medium planet. So now Nanda is bewildered because in many ways, Krishna is saying, do this other type of puja and it will please me very much. And if you don't desire to do it, then do what you wish. So Sananda jumped in and he spoke first to Lord Krishna. He said, dear son Ananda, you are wealthy with a great treasure of transcendental knowledge. So then he said, all right, how should the hill be worshipped? Please truthfully tell us. Then Krishna continued, a person who controls his senses and engages in devotional service should collect the ingredients for the worship and the anointing of Govardhan Hill with cow dung. First, you should do that. A person who controls his senses and engages in devotional service. That's what Krishna is trying to get us. That's what Srila Prabhupada is trying to get us to do. Control the senses and also engage steadily in devotional service. So that person should chant mantras and with other brahmanas helping, bathe the hill, Govardhan Hill, with Ganga water and Jamuna water. And then, so Krishna is being very specific. He should bathe the hill again with streams of white milk, pashamrita, fragrant flowers, and then the Jamuna water again. We do things in a very, 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 very small fashion with some deities depending on the time or the time of worship, called the Abhishek. This is what Krishna is saying. So you're going to perform Abhishek to Govardhan Hill. Then, by the way, Govardhan Hill also has a personality, just like we are in these bodies, and the bodies are not us. This time, Mother Bhumi is, a demigoddess, or even higher than that. That's another story for another time. But his body is the earth. So there is the personality of Govardhan Hill, and the body of it is, of him, is the hill itself. So we say that to say because the next point is, then that person chosen, good person, offers devotion service, they should offer splendid garments, food, a great throne, and many garlands and ornaments and many lamps. Then that chosen person should circumambulate Govardhan Hill and offer obeisances, and with folded hands recite this mantra. So of course, he was speaking Sanskrit, but we will do the English translation of it. The English translation that Krishna says to say to this particular mantra: obeisances to you, who are Goloka's crown and the lap where Vrindavan forest grows. Obeisances to Govardhan Hill, the supreme personality of Godhead's parasol. That is the mantra. Then he should offer a handful of flowers and as mridangas and kartals and other musical instruments make sweet sounds, then he should offer arti to Govardhan Hill. So now Krishna is giving instructions, and Sananda has said, Dear Krishna, you are the wonderful master of transcendental knowledge. What should we do to Govardhan? And now Krishna has described all of this. He should chant the mantra beginning with Vedaham, and he should then shower into a shower of grains, and in this way worship the hill. Now Indra is hearing all of this now. Krishna says, now it comes directly, worship the hill. And then with great faith, he should place a whole a hill of food, large amounts of food near Govardhan Hill. So like that, there's so many other points too that he said to do. We'll just fast forward a little bit. Now, so when he finished all the instructions on how to worship Govardhan Hill, and later on in the article, you should have the gopas and the gopis dance among the cows and then shout Jai, Jai, victory. In this way, then he should perform the worship of Govardhan Hill. Now, Krishna says something that's very important to us. Now, in this chapter, we are Canto 3, Chapter 1, Gaga Samhita. We're in text 27 now. It says, now please hear this worship, how it should be done when one is not near Govardhan Hill. When one is not near Govardhan Hill, they should make a model of Govardhan Hill from cow dung. This is Krishna's instruction. If those of us that are not near Govardhan Hill, Govardhan Puja, he advises that we take cow dung and make a model of Govardhan Hill. And those of us human beings on this earth, we should decorate that model Govardhan Hill with many flowers, blades of grass, a network of vines, and then worship it, offer worship to that. So the person who regularly worships the form of Shalagam Shila, and Shalagam Shila is one of the rocks on Govardhan Hill. The person who regularly worships that, so this is one tip for us, is not touched by hell. Not even touched by hell, as a lotus leaf is not touched by water. So worship of Shalagam Shila is not through that in, which is a rock from Govardhan Hill. So now to chapter 2. They're going to do this by Krishna's instructions. Giriraj, Govardhan Hill. That's another name for Govardhan Hill. So Narada is telling Bahulashva, when Krishna says what he wanted to say about how to worship Govardhan Hill and not do the Indra Puja, Nanda Maharaj and Sananda and all the rulers of Raja, they were very, very, very surprised. They were filled with wonder. But of course, they were going to do that. Remember, Krishna gave them a choice. If you don't do that, you can do whatever you like. He told Nanda. But they decided, yes, we're going to do it. So they started compiling everything that they needed to make this puja happen. And then Nanda Maharaj, with many cows and a great elephant chained with golden shackles, the Gaga Samhita is very, very, very detailed. They went to the edge of Govardhan Hill. And Nanda Maharaj looked like Indra himself, because Indra also rides the elephant, Airavata. All ingredients were brought, and Anandas and Upanandas and Vishabhanus and their wives and children and grandchildren, they all went to Govardhan Hill. Now, Radharani also came. Radharani literally looked like Sachi herself. Sachi is the wife of Lord Indra. And Nanda Maharaj came like the way Lord Indra would come on his elephant. Nanda Maharaj went to Govardhan Hill on an elephant. So basically, the decor was something similar to the way they would do Indra worship, because Indra would come and his wife would come. Now, it's Nanda who's coming. And Radharani looked like Sachi. Radharani is actually prettier than Sachi, but that's another situation. Lalita and Vishaka, they were there, the gopis came. Then some from Vakunta, the women of Vakunta, they came. Hmm? Women of the highest Vaikuntha realm. Hmm? Duvaloka women came. Lokachala women came. Lakshmi's friends were there. Hmm? Some of the women in the heavenly planets riding airplanes, they also came. Women of even Sutaloka, they also came. Daughters of King Bahismati. Apsaras were there. Hmm? So those from Raj, the cowherd girls of Raj, they were also nicely decorated. And they everyone approached Govardhan Hill. So then who came? Well, the one that drank the Datura poison. And he was accompanied by Parvati and many associates. And he was riding on his bull carrier, Nandi, that is Lord Shiva. He also came. Many Raja Rishis, Vipra Rishis, Sura Rishis, Siddhas, Yogeshwaras, Paramhamsas, Brahmanas, they all came to Govardhan Hill. Because Govardhan Hill was to be worshipped, this time they came. They normally don't come in the Indra Pujas, but they came for this one. So now, Krishna, his instructions being followed, Nanda worshipped the Brahmanas and the fire gods and the cows, and then gave a very opulent offering to Govardhan Hill. Then Krishna himself circumambulated Govardhan Hill and manifested a gigantic form and appeared from the midst of Govardhan Hill. And he declared, I am this hill. And then he ate the entire hill of food that was offered. So then everybody was happy to see that. So then the Gopas and the Gopis asked the hill, because Krishna was in there, to grant them a benediction. And so Krishna described what it is that, well, the Gopis described what it is that they wanted. And Krishna just said, so be it. So it was a joyful, joyful situation. And in the end, everybody, with their desires fulfilled, returned to their own homes. So the puja was over. Now, Indra had seen all of this. So in chapter 2, now it describes how Indra's reaction became. When he heard that the sacrifice had been stopped, sacrifice on him had been stopped, and the festival of Govardhan Hill had been performed, Indra became furious. So then he unleashed the Samvataka clouds. And the Samvataka clouds are the ones that pour rain on the planet at the time of cosmic destruction. And Indra sent them to destroy Vraj. So the clouds thundered like they were angry, and there were many, many, many colors of the clouds. Some were black, some yellow. We only see like dark colors. Some green, some color of camphor, some color of blue lotuses. These are the clouds. And they showered raindrops as big as elephants. Now, this is over our heads, but this is what is in Gaga Samhita. Furiously showered raindrops as big as elephants and thunderbolts as big as elephants' trunks. So it wasn't just the rain that was coming down, but it was very scary. Millions of rocks also fell, and they were big as mountain peaks. And the wind threw away many trees and houses, so even the houses got destroyed. The earth was filled with ferocious, terrifying, and devastating sounds of thunder. So the entire universe echoed with the sounds of that thunder. There were some stars that even fell to the circle of the earth. So it was a huge, huge to-do the way things happened. So then Nanda's palace was still standing, So they ran. These Gopas and the families, they just ran to Nanda's place, in his palace. Now, remember the worship to Govardhan Hill had already finished, so they had gone home, and then this happened to them. So the people of Raja bowed before Krishna and Balaram, surrendered to them, and took shelter and said, "Please save us, O mighty armed Krishna. Save your people from these calamities brought by Indra. Hmm? You, by your word, we stopped this Indra Yagya and offered a festival for Govardhan Hill. Now Indra is angry. What should we do? Please tell us." So Krishna then spoke to the Gopas. He said, "Don't be afraid. With your dependents, go to Govardhan Hill. He accepted our worship, so he will protect us." So after speaking these words, Krishna himself led the residents of Vrindavan to Govardhan Hill. And then he lifted the hill and playfully held it aloft with one hand. Just as effortlessly as a child holds a mushroom or an elephant holds a lotus in his tongue, Sri Krishna, the Prince of Raja, the kind Supreme Personality of Godhead, held up Govardhan Hill. And then he told them, "Father, mother, kings of the Gopas, take your relatives and associates, the household paraphernalia, and your wealth and your cows and everything, and go beneath the hill. There you do not need to fear Indra." So Balaram and all the boys, they went under Govardhan Hill, but they also took some sticks and they tried to steady the hill with their sticks. Krishna didn't say anything about it. He was holding it. So a great flood of water, of course, was coming towards Govardhan Hill. Great flood was coming. The water was pouring, and you see the size of the raindrops as is described earlier. It's just terrifying to see it. So Krishna, in his mind, he ordered Lord Shesha and Sudarshan Chakra to come to the hill. And they both came immediately. And Sudarshan Chakra began to dry up, as it says in Gaga Samhita. It's like drinking up the falling streams of water. And what did Shesha do? Well, Shesha is a snake, transcendental snake. He coiled himself, coiled around the hill. So that coiling, Shesha then stopped the incoming flood, because when it rains, of course, that much is going to flood, and even can flood underneath Govardhan Hill where the residents of Vrindavan were. So Shesha is the one that coiled himself around Govardhan Hill so that the flood could not come underneath Govardhan Hill. And this is why the residents stayed dry and happy under Govardhan Hill. So for 7 days, Krishna held steadily Govardhan Hill. And now Indra realized that he was losing. So then he was still angry. He took his Ayavata elephant and, accompanied by his armies, he went to the circle of Raj. Now he wanted to attack Raj. He wanted to destroy the village. So he this is Indra, threw his thunderbolt from far away. But what happened was Krishna immediately paralyzed both the thunderbolt and the arm that threw it. Indra's arm got paralyzed. And so he got scared, he got terrified. And he fled and stopped the Samataka clouds also from continuing. Then, as soon as he did that, the sun rose, clouds were gone, the winds had stopped, and the streams carried very little water. The ground dried up because, of course, the Sudarshan Chakra was drying up all the water. In fact, it dried up to the point where there was no flood. Sesha was still there guarding the perimeter of Govardhan Hill. But the Sudarshan Chakra got to the point where even if any rain fell, big drops of rain fell, that the Sudarshan Chakra immediately evaporated it. So the entire thing became, and now Indra's hand is paralyzed also. So he went away. So Krishna ordered the Gopas and the wealth, everybody, cows, come from under the hill. Now, then we're going to fast forward a little bit because I'm looking at the time now. With one hand, Krishna um, set Govardhan Hill back down. Now, Indra had lost. So a few demigods accompanied Indra. They went to a secluded place. Indra went to a secluded place in Govardhan Hill and bowed before Lord Krishna. And he started to do prayers. Indra said, "You're the master of the demigods. You're the supreme controller. You're the one who's perfect and complete. You're the oldest, the supreme person, greater than the greatest and above the material energy. O supreme personality of Godhead, Lord Hari. O master of the spiritual sky. O master of the universes. Please save me. Please save me." So this is obviously, this is somebody who's giving up. So, I'll say one more prayer from Indra and then we'll kind of wrap it up. Obeisances unto you, obeisances to you, obeisances to you, the lifter of Govardhan Hill. For the pleasure of the cows, Govardhan Hill, which is the pleasure of the cows, the land, and the senses. The Lord who resides in Gokula as the protector of the clouds, the master of the Gopas, the husband of the Gopis, the lifter of the elephant among mountains, an ocean of mercy, the creator of the universes, the auspiciousness of the universes, the home where the universes dwell, the enchanter of the universes, and the enchanter of millions of Kamadevs, and the lover of King Rishabhanu's daughter, a lamp shining in Krishna and King Nanda's family, the all-attractive Sri Krishna, the perfect and complete original Supreme Personality of Godhead, the master of countless universes, and the master of the transcendental abode of Golok, the companion of Balaram. So this is how detailed Indra praised Krishna. Now, Narada said, anyone who rising in the morning recites these prayers from Indra will attain all perfection. Dangers will not make him fear. A person that recites these prayers in the morning will become fearless. So it's over in text 5 of this particular chapter that we're on in Canto 3 of Gaga Samhita. You can look it up online. Then, of course, the coronation started. Indra got his elephant Aravata to take water from the Jamuna and bathe Krishna. And Surabhi was also there, and her milk also supplied as part of the Abhishek, practically, of Krishna. That's how they did. And this whole matter got ended. And Krishna explained to Indra, this is now Canto 10 of Srimad Bhagavatam. Krishna explained to Indra that he had stopped the Indra Yagya so that he, Indra, puffed up as he was with false pride, would remember the Lord. Now we know that that definitely worked very well, because look at the kind of offering of prayers that Indra did to Krishna. That now even if we repeat those prayers, that we also can be fearless. So Krishna ordered Indra to return to his proper position in heaven and serve there without any false ego. So Indra with the cows, Rabi, and they all performed this bathing ceremony, as I said earlier. And then everyone that came now from the heavenly planet showered flowers on the Lord and recited various prayers, and that was the end of that. Now, quickly we'll go through text 34. In the third season of the year, that is the fall, the year starts with spring. Although here in this country, we're kind of ending, or we're just in the middle of winter when the year starts. The winter starts with the end of the previous year. So the real beginning of the next is the spring. So that's the first one, season of the year, first season, spring. then summer, second season. Therefore, fall is the third season. So in the third season of the year, the Lord enjoyed with the assembly of women the Rasa dance. So this is from the second chapter of the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. The quick run through. So Krishna employed his Yogamaya potency and manifested within himself the desire to enjoy pastimes during an autumn night. So he began to play his flute. And when the gopis heard the flute sound, the impulses of Cupid were violently aroused within them. So they got very attracted to Krishna. We have to go see Krishna. So they immediately abandoned all their household duties and hastily went to Krishna. And all the gopis had purely spiritual bodies. They went there. Krishna arranged for them to exhibit, arranged for them to be ready to do the dancing and also admiring of Krishna. So some of them, their husbands tried to stop them, but Krishna arranged for them to be able to go anyway to them, to the middle of the forest in Vrindavan. So nobody was left out, even those that were blocked initially by their husbands. So the gopis came before Krishna, but then Krishna played a game with them. He says, "Why have you come? It is not good for you to travel to such a place in the dead of a night, for this forest is full of violent creatures, and your husband and children will soon come searching after you to bring you home and to engage you in your household duties. After all, the prime religious duty of a woman is to serve her husband and children. So for a respectable woman to consort with a paramour is totally contemptible and sure to obstruct the progress to heaven. Moreover, one develops pure love for me not by physical proximity, but by hearing topics connected with me, or viewing my daily form in the temple, or by meditating upon me, or by faithfully chanting my glories. Therefore, all of you would do well to return home." And when the gopis heard that, they were really crestfallen. They were disappointed. They cried a little, and then they got angry with Krishna. He says, "It's very unfair of you to reject young girls who have abandoned everything in their lives to come to you with the exclusive desire to serve you. By serving our husbands and children, we only receive pain, whereas serving you, the dearmost soul of all beings, we will be perfectly able to fulfill the true religions of the self. Now, what woman will not deviate from her prescribed duties as soon as she hears your flute and sees your form, which enchants the three worlds?" So the gopis really fired back a very, very defensive, argumentative point. So just like the Supreme Lord Vishnu protects the demigods, you destroy unhappiness of the people of Vrindavan. Therefore, you should immediately relieve the torment we felt because of separation from you. So then Krishna changed his mind. Actually, he wasn't going to let the gopis go. He just played with them a little bit. So Krishna turned around and started playing his flute. And then, of course, the Ras dance also began. But then he played with them a little bit also. When they got a little proud, then he humbled them by suddenly disappearing from the arena of the Rasa dance. But it's, so it continues and it continues and continues. But I'm looking at the time, so we're going to stop here. It's 9 o'clock already. The conclusion is there is much to enjoy in the company of Krishna. But I'm talking about those of us here, conditioned souls, we have to go through the fire of purification first. The opportunity is there to be with Krishna and to enjoy like anything with Krishna. See, Papa said we are subordinate enjoyers. We are servants of Krishna, but in the service we enjoy tremendously. Arrangements are made for the enjoyment, for the everlasting enjoyment of the residents, the living entities in the spiritual world, especially the ones in Golok Vrindavan. So we have a chance to go, but the purification is necessary. So take that seriously, and then of course, following the instructions given and not being offensive, we will get a chance to see Krishna. It's only a matter of time. For spiritual world, it's just moments for us from here to there. Even though for us, it takes us Kali Yuga period of living. But for them, it's just moments. Shira Prabhupada Ki Jai. So this is the time. I know we're at the top of the hour. Gaga Samhita is very, very detailed in describing things. And we've got in as much as possible. So, dear devotees, if you have comments or questions, this is the time to unmute yourself and ask those questions or make those comments. Any questions or comments? Shane, Hare Krishna, please accept humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Go ahead. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, please accept mine. All glories to the Prabhupada.
Glories to
Thank you for the beautiful class. I did have one question.
Prabhupada.
With Indra's prayers,
Yes.
like looking at them, it seems like they were made from somebody who knew Krishna and the background of Krishna. So I was wondering, how did he fall under ignorance of who Krishna was, and then was able to make such accurate prayers about Krishna? Then, Hare Krishna.
Very good question. I like the way you put it. How did you fall almost like to a temporary ignorance, huh? Well, for one thing, this is not the first time this has happened. Indra has some passion in him. Okay, some demigods are like that too. Many of them are like that. So we are being directed, for lack of a better word, by a spiritual master, Diksha Guru, Shiksha Guru, to be totally submitted to Krishna, to totally be submitted to Krishna and Krishna consciousness. The demigods know of the Lord, but they are also intoxicated, well, lack of a better way to put it, by all the material things that's supplied to them. So they become attached, and Indra is no exception. They become attached to some of the material things. So when the residents of Vrindavan were doing pujas to Indra every year, Indra became attached to it, was looking forward to it. He supplied rains, and he would, the rain would actually, of course, we all know that when it rains, the plants and the grass and everything grows so nicely. And of course, the cows need nice grass in order to be sustained. So that arrangement was there all the time. But if you remember, Krishna was answer his question that he asked Nanda. Nanda says, well, sense gratification and liberation. When you do that puja, that's all Indra gives. So that's at the material level. Sense gratification at the material level. But so this happens, after Krishna kind of humbled with the Govardhan Leela, humbled Indra. Then Indra realized, oh, I am actually messing with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He came to his senses and did that and started with these prayers. So at that time, then Indra is extremely intelligent. He can come up with the prayers so wonderful like that. But it's because of his attachment to the material energy and the praise, it gets into his head when he gets praised or pujas are done to him or for him. It gets into his head, if you know what I mean. And that's why sometimes he would react like that. There were even situations where one of the queens of Dwarka wanted the Parijata flower. Rukmini had gotten the Parijata flower as a gift, and Satyabhama wanted Parijata flower, but Parijata flower is in Swagaluka, where Indra is. So Krishna went there, and he took the Parijata tree. Well, that was Krishna, but still Indra fought him, because he was attached to the Parijata tree being in the heavenly planets. So he's like that. He's attached to material things, and then sometimes there's this. It's called Kama Mishra Bhakti, mixed Bhakti. Sometimes there's this attachment to material things, the fine things in the material energy. You don't compare to what's in the spiritual world, but again, the finer things in the material energy, Indra's attached to it. But every time that his senses, if he's brought back to his senses, then the wonderful part of Indra comes out, and that's how he made the prayer so wonderfully like that. Hare Krishna. Hopefully that answers your question.
Yes, Prabhu, thank you.
Hare Krishna. Any other comments or questions?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, please accept
Hare
my
Krishna.
humble obeisances. All glories to
Yeah.
Srila Prabhupada. Very wonderful class. Yeah, it's always good to hear Krishna's pastime.
Mm.
Prabhuji, you mentioned about a prayer, like you said you have to recite in the morning, and you mentioned it's text 5, right? I just wanted to know which prayer is that, like, you were mentioning.
Okay. The prayer, well, maybe I can ask Ansel, we'll put it, the reference of it at least in for everybody, let's put it in the WhatsApp for everybody. I know, and I know mentioned that the person that says these prayers, but let me just at least try to get the reference. It is text 5 of Canto 3, chapter 4. So it's actually 345. Canto 3, chapter 4, text 5 of Garga Samhita. Garga Samhita. If you go online, you can actually do Garga Samhita reference, and number of them will come up, but one of them will actually give you a nice summary of all the cantos in the different chapters. So then you just go to Canto 3 and click on chapter 4 and scroll to chapter 5, and the prayers will be there. Hare Krishna. I mean, text 5, and the prayers will be there. Hare Krishna. Hopefully that
Thank you,
helped.
Prabhuji. Yeah,
Hare
it helped.
Krishna. Yeah. Yaga Samhita 3, 4, 5. Canto 3, chapter 4, text 5. Okay. Any other questions? All right. So thank you for coming on to hear and hearing definitely. And Gaga Samhita always gets the same pastime is there in Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 10. Gaga Samhita adds more to it. Ragamuni in every situation added more to it. And that's why we used it this morning. Okay, so have a wonderful Krishna conscious day. Vancha kalpatarubhya kripa sindhivya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Chira Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna jai. Thank you. I see your electronic thank yous. All glories to Guru and Guru.